There's a small, fuzzy, unremarkable looking fruit sitting in almost every grocery store right now that hardly anyone over 60 thinks to eat before bed. It costs less than a cup of coffee. It fits in the palm of your hand. And yet, in a study out of Taipei Medical University, people who ate just two of them 1 hour before sleep fell asleep faster, woke up less during the night, and slept longer within just 4 weeks. Two kiwis. That's it. Now, I want to be honest with you right from the start. I'm not going to tell you this fruit is magic, and I'm not going to promise it replaces anything your doctor has given you. What I am going to do is walk you through exactly what happens inside your body, hour by hour, from the moment you eat those two kiwis before bed, all the way through to the surprising thing that happens around 3 in the morning. That 3 a.m. detail might be the real reason so many people over 60 quietly swear by this habit, so stay with me, because we're going through this step by step. And if you've ever found yourself lying awake at 2 or 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, wondering why sleep gets harder as we get older, this one is for you. Let's start with something almost nobody explains properly. If you're over 60 and you feel like your sleep just isn't what it used to be, you are not imagining it, and you are not doing anything wrong. Your sleep is genuinely changing, and it's happening for reasons that are built into how the body ages. Here's what's actually going on. When we're younger, our bodies produce a hormone called melatonin in strong, predictable waves. Melatonin is the signal that tells your brain it's dark, it's time to wind down, it's time to sleep. Think of it as the dimmer switch for your entire nervous system. But here's the part most people don't know. Melatonin production naturally declines as we age. By the time many people reach their 60s and 70s, they're producing only a fraction of the melatonin they made in their 30s. Less melatonin means a weaker sleep signal. And a weaker sleep signal means it takes longer to fall asleep, and it's much easier to wake up in the middle of the night and struggle to get back down. But melatonin is only part of the story. There's a second thing happening at the same time. As we age, the deep stages of sleep, the ones that actually repair the body and lock in memory, get shorter and lighter. So even when an older adult sleeps for a full 8 hours, they may spend less of that time in the truly restorative deep sleep. That's why you can be in bed all night and still wake up feeling like you barely rested at all. It's not the quantity that dropped, it's the quality. And then there's a third factor that quietly makes everything worse. Something as simple as a magnesium shortfall. Magnesium is a mineral your body uses to calm the nervous system and relax the muscles. Studies suggest a large portion of older adults simply don't get enough of it from their daily diet. And when magnesium runs low, the nervous system stays a little more switched on than it should be at night, like a car idling when it should be parked. There's even a fourth quiet culprit that we'll come back to later, and it has nothing to do with your brain at all. It's in your gut. But hold that thought. For now, picture all of these things stacking up at once. Lower melatonin, lighter deep sleep, not enough magnesium. It's like trying to fall asleep while someone slowly turns up the lights, turns up the volume, and pokes you every hour on the hour. That is the real reason sleep gets harder after 60. It's not weakness, it's not just getting old, and it's certainly not your fault. And here's why I'm telling you all of this, because it turns out this one humble little fruit touches on more than one of these problems at the same time. Let me show you exactly how. So what is it about kiwi specifically? Why not an apple or a banana or a handful of grapes? Why does this one strange little fruit keep showing up in the research? Let's open one up and look at what's really inside. The first thing you need to know is that kiwi is one of the very few foods that naturally contains serotonin. Now, serotonin is a chemical your body uses for mood, for calm, and this is the important part. It's the direct building block your body converts into melatonin, that sleep hormone we just talked about. So when you eat a kiwi, you're not just eating a fruit, you're eating a fruit that hands your body some of the raw material it uses to build its own sleep signal from the inside. The second thing inside a kiwi is a powerful dose of antioxidants, especially vitamin C. This surprises people, but one kiwi actually contains more vitamin C than an orange. Researchers believe that oxidative stress, basically internal wear and tear at the cellular level, interferes with healthy, restful sleep. The antioxidants in kiwi may help take some of that pressure off overnight when your body is quietly trying to do its repair work while you rest. The third thing is folate. This one flies under the radar, but folate deficiency has been linked in several studies to insomnia and trouble staying asleep, and kiwi happens to be a solid, natural source of it. For older adults who often run low on folate, that matters more than you'd think. The fourth thing is a healthy dose of potassium and natural magnesium. And remember, magnesium was one of the three things we said runs low after 60 and keeps the nervous system switched on. So here's a food gently topping up the very mineral so many older adults are short on. And the fifth thing, the one I find most fascinating, is what kiwi does for your gut. And this is where it gets really interesting because your gut and your sleep are connected in a way that almost nobody talks about. This is that fourth quiet culprit I told you to hold on to, but I'm not going to explain it yet because it deserves its own section, and it's going to tie this entire video together at the end. So just keep that in the back of your mind, the gut. Write it down if you have to, because it's the piece that makes kiwi different from every other bedtime snack. Now let's do what I promised at the very beginning. Let's walk through what actually happens inside your body hour by hour on the very first night you eat 2 kiwis before bed. Around 1 hour before bed, you eat the kiwis. This timing is not random. It's the exact window used in the research, and there's a good reason for it. When you eat kiwi about an hour before lying down, you give your digestive system enough time to start breaking it down and begin absorbing the serotonin, the vitamin C, and the other nutrients, but not so much time that your body has fully processed everything before you're ready to sleep. You're timing the nutrients to arrive right as your body begins winding down for the night. Think of it as sending the reinforcements just before the battle, not the morning after. The first 30 minutes, your blood sugar stays calm. Here's something that surprises almost everyone. Kiwi is sweet, but it has a relatively low glycemic load, which means it doesn't cause the big blood sugar spike and crash that so many bedtime snacks do. And that crash is a hidden reason a lot of people wake up at 3 a.m. Here's how it works. You eat something sugary before bed, your blood sugar shoots up, then it drops sharply a few hours later, and when it drops, your body releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline to correct it, and those stress hormones jolt you wide awake. Kiwi's gentle, steady release helps you avoid that entire roller coaster, and that alone can make a real difference for people over 60, who tend to be more sensitive to those swings than younger folks. Around 60 to 90 minutes in B, the serotonin starts doing its quiet work. As the nutrients get absorbed, your body has more of the raw materials it uses to support that calming wind-down process. Now, I want to be honest with you here, because I promised I would be. No fruit is going to knock you out like a sleeping pill, and honestly, you wouldn't want it to. What people describe instead is a gentler, more natural drift into sleep. Less of that frustrated tossing and turning, less of that "why am I still awake" feeling. In the research, this showed up as people falling asleep meaningfully faster than they did before, not instantly, but noticeably. The deep middle of the night. This is where it gets interesting. Remember how I said older adults tend to wake up more during the night and to spend less time in deep sleep? This is exactly where kiwi seems to shine the most. In the studies, the single biggest improvement wasn't actually falling asleep faster, it was staying asleep. Participants woke up less often, and when they did wake, they got back to sleep faster. Their total sleep time went up, and their sleep efficiency, the percentage of time in bed actually spent sleeping, improved too. And here's that thing I mentioned at the very beginning. The reason I made this whole video, the thing that happens around 3 a.m. Stay with me for just one more section, because this is the part almost nobody knows about. So, 3 a.m. Why do so many people over 60 wake up at almost exactly that time night after night, like clockwork? Part of it, as we covered, is that blood sugar dip. Part of it is the lighter deep sleep. But there's a third piece, and it ties directly back to that gut thing I asked you to hold on to not once, but twice now. Here it is. Kiwi is unusually good for your digestion. It contains a natural enzyme called actinidin that helps your body break down protein more easily. This is actually why some cultures use kiwi as a natural meat tenderizer. And it's packed with soluble and insoluble fiber that keeps things moving gently through your gut overnight. Now, you might be thinking, why on earth would digestion have anything to do with sleep? Because of something scientists call the gut-brain axis. Your gut and your brain are in constant two-way communication through a network of nerves, most importantly, a big one called the vagus nerve. They're literally talking to each other all night long. And here's the stunning part, the fact that changes how you should think about all of this. Roughly 90 to 95% of your body's serotonin, that same calming, sleep-supporting chemical, is actually produced in your gut, not in your brain. Read that again. The vast majority of your body's serotonin is made in your digestive system. So think about what that means. When your gut is sluggish, backed up, inflamed, or uncomfortable, which becomes extremely common after 60 as digestion naturally slows down, it can quietly interfere with that entire calming system overnight. Bloating, trapped gas, constipation, and irregular digestion are some of the most underrated causes of that middle of the night wake up. A huge number of people who wake at 3 a.m. assume it's their racing mind or stress or just getting older. But part of what's really happening is their gut sending wake up signals up that vagus nerve to the brain and interrupting the production of the very chemical that keeps them calm and asleep. This is the hidden reason Kiwi seems to work so well for so many people over 60. It's not doing just one thing, it's supporting the sleep hormone directly with serotonin building blocks, and at the same time, it's calming and supporting the gut overnight, which supports the production of that calming serotonin from the inside, right when your body needs it most, in those fragile small hours of the morning. Two mechanisms working at once from two different directions. That's the piece almost nobody explains on YouTube. And that is exactly why a plain apple, a couple of crackers, or a glass of warm milk simply doesn't do the same thing. They might help you drift off. They don't do this dual job overnight. Now, before you run out to the store, there are a few things you absolutely need to know to do this the right way, because doing it wrong can actually work against you, and I don't want you wasting your money or your effort. So stick with me for this next part, because this is where most people slip up. All right? If you're going to try this, here is exactly how to do it, and the mistakes to avoid. Number one, eat them about 1 hour before bed, not the second you lie down. Lying down immediately after eating anything can cause acid reflux and heartburn, and that will wake you up far faster than any fruit will help you sleep. Give your body that 1 hour window. That's the sweet spot the research used, and it works with your digestion instead of against it. Number two, eat the skin if you can tolerate it. I know, almost everyone peels a kiwi, but the skin holds a large share of the fiber and the antioxidants, so peeling it throws away some of the best parts. Just give it a good rinse under the tap and rub it to knock down some of the fuzz. Or buy a gold kiwi variety, which has a smoother, thinner, less fuzzy skin that's genuinely pleasant to eat. If the skin really bothers your stomach or you just can't get past the texture, that's completely okay. Scoop out the inside with a spoon and you'll still get most of the benefit. Number three, 2 is the number for a reason. The research used 2 kiwis and more is not better here. Kiwi has natural sugar and a lot of fiber, and eating 4 or 5 of them right before bed can leave you feeling overly full or a little gassy and bloated overnight, which, as we just learned, completely defeats the purpose. 2 is the studied, sensible, effective amount. Respect the 2. Number 4, don't add sugar, honey, or sweet toppings to it. People sometimes want to dress it up, but the moment you add sugar, you reintroduce the exact blood sugar spike and crash we're trying to avoid. Eat it plain. Let the fruit do its job. Number 5, and this is a genuine safety point, so please pay close attention. Kiwi is fairly high in potassium and in vitamin K. For most people, that's a good thing. But if you have kidney disease, your kidneys may struggle to clear excess potassium, and that can be dangerous. And if you take blood thinners like warfarin, vitamin K directly affects how that medication works. This is not me being overly cautious for the sake of it. These are real, documented interactions. So if any of that applies to you, please talk to your doctor before making this a nightly habit. It's a 2-minute conversation, and it's absolutely worth having before you start. And one more. A small number of people are genuinely allergic to kiwi, and it can cause tingling or itching in the mouth and throat. If you've never eaten kiwi before, try a small amount during the daytime first, not right before bed, and not two at once. Now let's talk about what you should realistically expect, because I don't want you trying this for 2 nights, feeling nothing dramatic and giving up. That's the most common mistake of all. The first night or two, most people don't feel a lightning bolt. You might notice you settle a little more easily, or you might notice nothing at all yet. That's completely normal. This is not a sleeping pill, and it doesn't work like one. By the end of the first week, this is usually when people start to notice something. Often it's not, I fell asleep faster, but it's, I don't remember waking up as much last night. That reduction in nighttime waking tends to show up before anything else, and it lines up with what the research found. By 2 to 4 weeks, if it's working for you, the benefits tend to settle in and become consistent. In the actual study, it took the full 4 weeks for the clearest improvements in falling asleep, staying asleep, and total sleep time to show up. So the single biggest tip I can give you is this. Give it a proper, consistent 4-week trial before you judge it. Every night, 2 kiwis, 1 hour before bed. Consistency is the whole game here. And keep a simple note by your bed. Just jot down what time you woke up, if at all. After a few weeks, look back at your notes. That little record will tell you far more honestly than your foggy morning memory ever could whether this is working for you. Here's the honest truth, because I promised I'd be straight with you the entire way through. Kiwi is not a miracle, and 2 kiwis are not going to undo years of poor sleep all by themselves. They are absolutely not a replacement for anything your doctor has prescribed. If you have serious, ongoing insomnia, or you snore heavily and wake up gasping for air, or you feel completely exhausted no matter how many hours you sleep, please see a doctor. Those can be signs of something like sleep apnea, and no fruit on earth can fix that. What Kiwi is a genuinely helpful, low-cost, low-risk habit that gently supports several of the things that go wrong with sleep after 60, all at the same time. The melatonin building blocks, the blood sugar stability, the magnesium top-up, the overnight gut support. In the actual research, the improvements were real, modest, but real. And here's the philosophy I really want you to take from this channel. Good sleep after 60 is not about finding one magic bullet. It's about stacking small, gentle, sensible wins. Kiwi is one of those wins. Pair it with a dark, cool bedroom, a consistent bedtime, less screen time in the last hour, and getting some sunlight on your face in the morning. And now you have something genuinely powerful. Not because of any single trick, but because they all add up. No hype, no fear, no promises I can't keep. So let's bring it all together quickly. 2 kiwis, about 1 hour before bed. Inside them, serotonin that supports your natural sleep signal, antioxidants that ease overnight cellular stress, folate, magnesium, and gentle fiber, and enzymes that calm and support your gut. And that gut support may be the real reason so many people over 60 stop snapping awake at 3 a.m., because the gut is where the great majority of your calming serotonin is actually made. Do it the right way. Skin on if you can, plain with no added sugar, exactly 2, about an hour before bed. And check with your doctor first if you have kidney issues or take blood thinners. Then give it a full 4 weeks before you judge it. It costs almost nothing. It takes almost no effort. And the worst thing that can happen is you ate a healthy fruit. That is a very good trade. Now I have a question for you, and I genuinely read the comments. So tell me down below, what time do you usually wake up in the middle of the night? Is it 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4? Drop the exact time in the comments, because I'm seeing a real pattern in the people who watch these videos, and I want to know if it holds true for you too. And if this was helpful, do me one small favor and subscribe, because next I'm going to show you the 5 bedtime drinks that may help you sleep even better after 60. and you do not want to miss which one surprised me the most. It's not the one everyone thinks. Take care of yourself, sleep well, and I'll see you in the next one.